Being gay is not a personality trait. I don't know when we decided that what gender you want to sleep with or appear as is what makes you interesting, because it doesn't. I would hope that there are other aspects of my character more deserving of attention than my love for big booty Latinas. Is it just me, or is reducing the entirety of your persona down to something equally as trivial as what your favorite color is kinda lame? I have a hard time believing that anyone who has something actually substantial about their character would put such an emphasis on something as irrelevant as their sexuality. Being human is a beautiful disaster. It's an infinite ocean of chaos, uncertainty, and self-discovery. A crashing tsunami of vitality, mayhem, and free will. But instead, you chose to sit on a kiddie pool in the sand. For those of us who grew up on the internet, the algorithm told you who you are before experience ever had the chance to. It made it nearly impossible to find your honest identity because your feed was already telling you who to be. That's why in this era there has never been a greater importance on introspection, to pause and contemplate what all of it means to you. The youth has failed to develop the skill of introspection because of the constant emphasis on everything external, where algorithms tell you what to think and when to think it, solely dictating your ideas of right and wrong like Newton's cradle swinging back and forth and back and independent thought is dead. It's easier to cling to a label that somebody else has already made up for you because building your own identity with something of substance is inconvenient. It's too difficult and time consuming to find out what you really think, so you let your algorithm decide that for you. I'll cling to a commentator's beliefs because it's easier to think vicariously through them than it is to think for myself. It's become normal to outsource all of your critical thinking as if it should have ever been somebody else's job. Being gay is not a personality trait. You've just been disillusioned into believing that your sexuality is what defines you. You're told that because you happen to like the same gender that now you have to fit into the box of everything else that goes along with it. What's sad is that people will claim that this is hateful rhetoric despite the fact that I'm encouraging you to think for yourself and not be what others expect you to be. The original tenet of the LGBT community from the very beginning has been to be okay with being different, to be free of societal expectations and not be ashamed of who you are. Independent thought is an easier commonplace, which makes it all the more valuable and necessary. The independent thinkers are now responsible for shifting the culture to a place where different opinions are discussed instead of discouraged, where we define ourselves on the basis of our character instead of our sexuality. There are a million other things more interesting about you than who you want to sleep with or what pronouns you want to be called. Stop being so worried about how other people perceive you and instead look inwards at how you choose to perceive yourself. What's scary is that it's become common to not have passions or interests. It's become normalized for people's mainstream hobby to be watching Netflix and doom scrolling, both of which are consumption activities, so they can't even be considered a hobby at all. It's just a way to pass the time instead of actually doing or creating something. This culture of constant consumption has led people to feel directionless and disconnected from their lives. It's hard to know who you are and what you believe when you're constantly consuming and never creating. People need a purpose to identify with, otherwise they end up turning to things like astrology, neo-pronouns, and politics. Ugh. This kind of lifestyle leads people to have very shallow, surface-level identities that don't require any effort or skill. It's how you end up with the, I'm a bisexual, neurodivergent, non-binary who loves anime. It's like, okay, cool, but what do you do? Do you like to draw? Do you write kinky Wattpad stories about anime boys? I mean, at least do something. The real problem I have with this identity thing is that it robs you of the feeling of emptiness. It robs you of having the feeling of being completely lame and uninspiring. When you have all of these quirky labels to identify with, you get to fill that dark void with fake rainbows. It's like putting a band-aid over a broken bone. But if you were forced to sit with the reality of your lack of substance without any of these fake labels to cover it up, you would have to actually try to come up with something real. You would have to experiment with different things to discover what your actual interests and ideas are. It would take time, contemplation, action, effort to discover and practice the things that actually make you unique. Haphazardly clinging to your sexual orientation or gender identity to comprise your entire personality is the laziest possible conclusion. I don't say any of this to be mean-spirited. I genuinely think you're capable of becoming a much more well-rounded and fulfilled human being, but you've been disenfranchised by both the algorithm and instant gratification. You need a purpose beyond your sexuality. You need some type of mission. This is how people find genuine fulfillment. Having a vision in mind of the person they want to become and then becoming it.